Excellency, our host, Excellency First Lady of the Federal Republic of Ethiopia, the President of OAFLA, Excellency First Lady of the Republic of Malawi, Excellencies, dear sisters, Executive Director of UNAIDS, Honorable ladies and gentlemen, dear partners, good morning. Dear sisters, 15 years ago, we organized around the calling to bring an end to the AIDS epidemic, an epidemic that took the lives of millions of people over a course of just 2 decades. The urgency of that situation could not be ignored. We could no longer delay in fighting this disease that was robbing our people of all ages of the opportunities to fulfill their full potential. So each one of us proposed pertinent solutions to be efficiently implemented in our respective nations and through our respective foundations. As we take a moment to evaluate our 15-year journey, I ask you to not only celebrate the achievements realized thanks to our growing commitment and that of our valued partners, but to also take a moment to reflect upon the work we are yet to do. Honorable guests, over the years, global progress towards ending AIDS has been one of great significance. And yet, sub-Saharan Africa remains the most severely affected by HIV and AIDS. A child dies every minute of an AIDS-related illness, and we lose at least 1 million people to this. We lose at least 1 million people to this pandemic every year. This is the reason why we cannot give up, why we must never give up, and why we'll never give up. Countless trials over the years have shown the positive impact in our countries of promoting and advocating for maternal and child health in relation to PMTCT. For instance, in 2001, Rwanda launched a national program aimed at reducing and eventually eliminating mother-to-child transmission of the virus. 16 years later, 97% of our health facilities provide services for the prevention of mother-to-child transmission, and through these services, HIV transmissions from mother-to-child transmission have since dropped from more than nearly 10% to 1.8% in 10 years. Distinguished guests, our years spent combating the spread of HIV and AIDS has often left us wondering why we are significantly reducing transmissions rates on one front, only to see this virus take on a new phase by attacking a new demographic. This is the current case as we see the HIV and AIDS epidemic affecting in growing numbers the lives of our young people. Recent research reveals that on our continent, AIDS is now the leading cause of death among adolescents aged 10 to 19 years old, with adolescent girls being the most affected demographic. Realizing that this virus is affecting active populations who are meant to be the future driving forces of our societies and our economies is revolting as it is frightening. Indeed, we now know that the impact of HIV and AIDS is multi-layered and has gone beyond a public health issue to becoming a full-blown development one. In the public spheres, the fight against this virus requires more investment for the prevention and treatment of AIDS-related diseases at a time of disputing development priorities. Honorable ladies and gentlemen, allow me to recall our AU vision for 2063 of an integrated, prosperous and peaceful Africa driven by its own citizens and representing a dynamic force in the global arena. But what lies between us and this noble vision is the invisible and lethal threat of the AIDS pandemic. Again, this is why we cannot afford to give up, why we must not give up, and why we will never give up. To borrow the words of the UNAIDS Executive Director Michel Sidibe, complacency is the new conspiracy and it must be broken. We need to take a harsh look at these statistics that show that our youth and in high proportions our young women are at greater risk of contracting the virus. Then we must take more decisive action. As a community, we must protect these precious lives, for their health will determine the well-being of the next generations, and by extension their ability to thrive and become the innovators and trendsetters needed for the development of our continent. As a community, we must look into the depth of our African cultures for socially responsible initiatives, well thought out programs and campaigns, the kind that encourage prevention and treatment while fighting stigma within our communities. As a community, we must concentrate our effort towards achieving the ambitious goal of 90-90-90 by 2020. And as a community, while further investing in the search for more effective drugs until the day that a cure is found, we must continue supporting research that study behaviors to help prevent new infections if we are going to eradicate AIDS by 2030. Honorable ladies and gentlemen, we must continue to build on the work done so far by maintaining the different partnerships with government institutions, development partners, and most importantly, the active support of people living with HIV and AIDS in our communities if we are to stay the course in the fight against HIV and AIDS. It's indeed everyone's responsibility to hold the torch of hope. In order to harness the demographic dividend, we owe at least that much to future generations the opportunity to start free, stay free, AIDS free by 2020. Thank you very much to all of you, dear sisters, who continue to soldier for this noble cause. And aux chères sœurs, ce parcours sur 15 ans fut parsemé de moments forts, marqué par le soutien inébranlable de nombreuses premières dames qui ne sont pas toutes présentes en ce jour. I thank you for the kind attention and again wish you all a happy 15th anniversary.